Good morning and welcome to the stream. We are at a very small airport called Tweed's New Haven Airport in New England. You know, I'm not fully sure where in New England this is. Let me drag over our air traffic control program, pilot to ATC. This is Payware from Orbix Sceneries. Today we have a coastal flight down to Miami International. I'm pretty darn sure Miami is in Florida. Yes, I did suspect that Tweed's New Haven was in Connecticut. I've actually been here before. There we are, Tweed's New Haven, Connecticut. Not too terribly far of New York City. There's Stratford, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Norwalk, Stamford, New Rochelle, and then we get into the monster area of New York City. So that's where we are. I'm really liking this airport. It's got a jetway, which I always like to have a jetway, but it only has one jetway. There's a small terminal building, jetway, and then there's our air traffic control, and not much else to this place. Take a quick look around. We are in American Airlines livery. Stand up to cancer. Some GA hangars on the other side of the field. Looks like we've got another American Airlines aircraft next to us, and we are heading down to Miami, which is a hub for American Airlines. So we're all about American Airlines today. Glad you could join me. Need to do just a little bit of housekeeping and get our pushback program, Pushback Express. Get that fired up. And the other program you folks know that I like is called A320 Crew. Those two programs are set and ready to go, so let's climb aboard.
Let's start setting up.
Okay.
Didn't we do that a little prematurely? I meant to get that jet bridge attached. And while the jet bridge is attaching, we'll get some external power and we'll get the baggage loaded. We are using live time and live weather, so in the east coast of the United States right now, you can see the day is breaking. Don't break the day! Whatever you do, don't break the day. Dawn is breaking, is I guess the correct phraseology. There's a FedEx van parked over there by the terminal, perhaps. We're carrying some FedEx packages on our belly. Contract carrier for them, perhaps. Back aboard. We have external power, so we'll select battery 1, battery 2, and then we'll select our external power. Turn up the rheostat here on the overhead integrity lights, get some lighting upstairs. Turn on some of these lights. I'll turn on my nav logo light, my wing light. Hold off on the beacon light until we're ready for ground personnel to clear the area. Put the strobes in auto. We can arm the emergency exits. No smoking sign on. Seatbelt sign on. Our cabin environment won't come to temperature until we run the APU, but we have the switches ready when it does. We'll get our ADIRs lined up, our Inertia Reference System, or IRS, Nav1 system on, Nav2 system on, and Nav3 system on. We'll do a fire test on our APU. Checks out fine. We'll do a smoke test in our cargo area. That checks out fine. And for right now, we're finished with upstairs. Let's do some flight planning on the computer. I'm going to go to our ATSU menu and then our company menu. We will do an initialization, request data from the dispatch office in the form of our operational flight plan. Here we go. New Haven Airport to Miami Airport. Fuel on board is 9.5 kilo whatevers metric. And estimated time en route 2 hours and 52 minutes. Let's go back to our company menu. We'll request some weather. How about KMIA, our destination. KORF, that's Norfolk, Virginia. It's on the Virginia coast. Maybe we'll do KATL, that's our alternate. KJAX, which is Jacksonville, Florida, on the east coast of Florida. And we'll ask for a METAR, which is current meteorological conditions. And we'll also ask for a TAF, terminal aerodrome forecast. That's forecasted weather. I'll ask for an ATIS for our arrival. KMIA. I'll have it sent to the printer. Now that we have a printer, I'll have it sent to the printer. This will be the first time I've ever done that. And back to the company menu. Let's do a weight and balance. We'll request information from our operational flight plan. Looks like our trip fuel, our block fuel is 11,452, and we have aboard, I'll push the fuel button, 9460. Our passengers have not yet boarded, so this is a good time to get that fuel aboard. Let's load the aircraft to that fuel number, and now you can see our fuel on board has climbed dramatically. So we've got the fuel we need. We don't need to worry about not boarding passengers while fueling. Let's go to the next page. Here are our payload, 176 passengers. That's a lot of passengers coming out of Tweed, New Haven Airport. We probably have the whole town on board. Here's our center of gravity. Here's our zero fuel weight. We'll load those in. Great. Now let's go to our data page. Aircraft status. We'll verify our LEAP 1A engines with 26,000 pounds of rated thrust. We'll verify our AIRAC cycle, which is out of date. Is it out of date? Is today the 24th? Today's 25th. Yes, it is out of date by 1 day. We will go to our initialization page. We'll request the information from our data uplink. Uplink insertion in progress. New Haven to Miami. We don't have a good flight number there. How about if we go AA043 in the flight number. that has been calculated is Orlando, and I mentioned I want an alternate of Atlanta. So that's what I'll put in. There we go. Tropopause at 49,410. That's way above our flight level of 340 today, so I'm not going to worry about the tropopause. There's our flight level and temperature, 340. Tropopause is a major change in wind direction and pressure and temperature. It's kind of a indicative of the location of the jet stream. Let's go to our performance page. Flap setting of 2. Takeoff trim of 0.6 down. And then while I'm thinking of, I always want to do this while I'm thinking of this or I'll forget. I want to set in. There's 1 up. And there's 2 up, so 0.6 down would be right about there. That's 0.6 down on the trim wheel. Flex temp, 56 degrees. That's the temperature. We're going to trick the engines. We're going to make the engines think it's 56 degrees out, so they'll work less. They'll work a little, not quite as hard. They'll extend engine life and help promote noise abatement. 18,000 feet is the transition altitude in North America. V2, VR, and V1 have been calculated and are now inserted. Let's go to our flight plan. There is no SID out of New Haven. These have all been imported into the routing from SimBrief. Beads, rifle, and then this is the J174 airway. All these waypoints make up the J174 airway. And then we get into our arrival. Our runway of arrival, this may change of course, but right now it's runway 27. So we'll be ready for a change. ILS 27, and our arrival is the Hilly 7. The Hilly 7 arrival. Novia. Insert. That looks pretty good. Let's take a seat and go into the plan mode on our primary flight display, and we'll step through the waypoints very quickly just to add a little.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Okay.
We'll get some folks aboard. Looks like it's fairly direct down the United States coastline until we get near Miami. Then we'll push out to the east and prepare for an arrival that's almost due, actually at heading 270, that would be due west. So that's looking pretty good. We will turn on the flight directors, turn on the constraints, Go to maximum brakes on the RTO, the rejected takeoff. Turn on our progressive wind shear system. Arm the spoilers. And I think we are ready to call for a clearance. I'm wondering if New Haven Ground will handle my clearance. Let's give New Haven Ground a call and see if they'll have our clearance for us. Air traffic control is taking a little time to wake up this morning. There we go. New Haven Ground, American 4-3, ready to copy.
American 4-3, this is ground, go ahead.
New Haven Ground, American 4-3, ready to copy.
American 4-3 is cleared to Kilo Mike India Alpha as filed. Expect departure runway 20. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.07 squawk 4255.
American 4-3 is cleared to Kilo Mike India Alpha as filed. Climb and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 124.07 squawk 4255.
American 4-3 rear back correct. QNH is 1013, let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1013 American 4-3.
She gave us the European standard in the pressure setting. We are not in Europe. Let's see if I can change that real fast. Okay, I think that might have changed it. Time to run a checklist. Here comes our virtual first officer.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
Adheres.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barrel rest.
1013. Set.
1013. Set. Down to the line.
Looks like our virtual first officer is also using a European convention. Let's go into her settings and see if I can change that over to the United States. There we go. Hectopascals is what is selected. We'll move that to inches of mercury. Great. Let's check in with the ground crew. Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Okay, I wait.
Confirm all ground checks are complete and we are cleared to pressurize the hydraulics.
Outside check is completed, all doors and panels are closed, no issues found. You can pressurize the hydraulics anytime now.
Thank you. We are making really good progress. How about time to start the APU? First, I want to do a fire test on engine number 1. Fire test on engine number 2. Those are both okay. We will turn on our fuel pumps. I will turn on the crew oxygen supply. I'm going to go to APU master power. I'm going to turn on the beacon light. Make sure people under the aircraft avoid the area as we get that APU fired up. 1, 2, 3, slow count. Start the APU. Turn on the APU bleed air. And we are
41
set.
approaching 5 Whiskey with Sierra.
United 41 down, runway 34 left. Taxi, actually runway 25. Runway 25, taxi via Golf. Certified to Sierra?
We got Sierra 25 via Golf United. 41.
Flap open. We can see our exhaust gas temperature starting to climb. We're getting some voltage, but it's not quite available yet. It's available. APU is available. Let's go off of ground power, and we'll tell our ground power unit that he is no longer needed. Looks like the baggage handlers have finished what they're doing. In the meantime, another American Airlines aircraft is with us. So three American Airlines airplanes here at our airport. He's got more of a crowd around him. The scenery is wonderful.
The Canada 1040 monitor 7135.3.
35-3, Air Canada 1040.
Looks like we have a company message, so let's go to our McDo menu, ATSU, company, received messages. Yes, we have ATIS from Miami is not yet available. Here are the terminal aerodrome forecasts that we requested. It's nice to have information, but the most valuable is the METARs. So I'm going to print the METARs. And here it comes. Thanks to our new printer. METAR for Miami, METAR for Norfolk, METAR for Atlanta, METAR for Jackson. And now those METARs will be available for us. Timestamp, no wind, 5 statute miles of visibility, and what's called baby rain. When you see baby rain, that stands for mist. Few clouds at 1,500, temperature 21, dew point 20. When these two numbers are close, like they are right now, that is indicative of fog. 3015 on the altimeter, and again, that's a European convention. I know this airplane is set up for European measurements. That's fine. I'm not going to try to change that. I could change it, but I'm not going to. And then some remarks down here at the bottom. So we've got a little bit of dicey weather. 3 miles is the minimum for visual meteorological conditions. We're slightly above that now at 5 miles, but not much. So baby rain and fog, mist and fog. So we could have some visibility issues coming into Miami. I'm betting We're going to get a load sheet here pretty fast, and we'll be...
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
I predicted
No
it.
problem. Have a safe flight.
We have our load sheet. Let's lock the cabin door. Turn up some of these other rheostats here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartments. If you need assistance, contact a flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also, review the safety instruction card in your seat pocket. If you are seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
How about I add my welcome aboard to the welcome of the cabin crew?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck. This is the captain speaking. On behalf of the entire flight crew and myself, I'd like to welcome you aboard today's flight. Our flight attendants are there for your comfort, but more importantly for your safety, so please give them a few minutes of your undivided attention while they go over the safety features of this aircraft. Once the boarding process is complete, we'll get the cabin door closed and push off the gate for an on-time departure. In the meantime, please sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Welcome aboard. Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Are you sure about that? Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start, checklist complete.
She questioned me because I said windows and doors closed, and she said, are you sure about that? Because our windows and doors are not quite all the way closed. We still have our cabin door open. Getting those last minute folks aboard. Take a sip of my virtual coffee. At the same time, I'll get a sip of real coffee. That virtual coffee tastes good.
Southwest 253, monitor tower 135.3, good day. Good day, Southwest 25.
Hey guys, are we clear to close?
Yes.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
Cabin crew, arm slides and cross-check.
Doors are all closed. Looks like we're ready for pushback. New Haven ground, American 4-3, request pushback and engine start.
American 4-3 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. American 4-3.
Flight deck to ground. We are ready for pushback and engine start. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Understood. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brake released.
Pushing back.
Starting engine 2. Starting engine 1.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board.
3564 ground, runway 8 right, taxi via Echo Short of Fox 2.
Please direct your attention to the cabin
Echo Short of
for
Fox 2,
port safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs, and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the exit nearest you. The nearest exit may be behind you.
We have available lights on both
In an
engines.
emergency, lights will illuminate
Let's
the
go
aisle.
off of APU.
The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open and oxygen masks will appear. Remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and pull a mask toward you to start the flow of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing to the mask even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the end. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be used as a flotation device. Pull up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft,
The push is complete. Please set the brakes.
hold on to the straps located on the back. This is a
Parking brake set.
non-smoking flight. Smoking is not
Understood.
permitted in the cabin.
Okay,
or
so the
lavatory.
ground equipment is removed and
Cabin
pin is
lights
out.
will now be turned
Good
off.
engine
Green
starts
light buttons
from
are
down here,
located above.
and I see you on the right hand side with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight, and we'll see you later.
The 1190, your sequence is the Alaska Boeing 737, to monitor tower 125.32.
2532 behind Alaska, 1196.
New Haven ground, American 4-3, ready to taxi, runway 20.
American 4-3 taxi to runway 20 via taxiways Delta. Hold short runway 20.
Taxi to runway 20 via taxiways Delta. Hold short runway 20 American 4-3.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
24% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Flight control check.
Full down. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Your turn.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Brakes are good. Okay, she said taxiway D is in Delta. But we're not Delta, we're American. That's a little livery, very, very little livery joke. Test the configuration.
9533, follow the Delta
All normal.
MD88. That's coming out of ramp 2 now, monitor tower 125.32.
Oh, the Delta monitor 2532, 9533.
I can't get over how beautiful this field is, and I love these smaller airports that don't have massively complicated taxis. That might not be very realistic, but in my future, I think I'm going to be starting most flights out of smaller airports that I can taxi like this, landing at bigger airports, so I get the experience of both the small and the little airport, but I don't have to deal with the massive taxi times. As far as the length of our flight, this is probably a longer flight than I would usually be comfortable with. We're at flap setting 2. We have a relatively short runway, so I'm going to not start the takeoff at the runway, but start it here at what's referred to as the
American
displaced
4-3
threshold.
contact tower on 124.8. Enjoy your morning.
Tower on 124.8 American 43.
Which is perfectly fine. You can taxi and take off on the displaced threshold. The only restriction is you can't land on it. New Haven Tower, American 4 Tree, ready for departure, runway 20.
Northwestern 512, cleared inbound 24 left.
Western 512 Tower, 321 traffic short, final wind calm, cleared line, runway 24 left.
Cleared line 24 left, Western 512.
American 4-3 winds are calm, cleared for takeoff. Runway 20 squawk 4255, maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet, then turn left heading 137 to intercept course.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 20 squawking 4255, maintain runway heading until above 1,000 feet, then left to 137 American 43.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 2.
Config 2. V1. VR. V2. Flex temp.
V1 1 2 7 VR 1 2 8 V2 1 3 2
V1 1 2 7 VR 1 2 8 V2 1 3 2 ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff. No blue.
Down to the line.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
PAX.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Ready.
Ready.
Takeoff.
We're doing a flex takeoff, not a toga takeoff. So I'm going to advance the throttle levers, not all the way to the firewall, but to the flex temp position. Just, there's toga. I don't want, there's flex. Flex 56 in the upper left corner of the primary display.
Man flex SRS runway out of thrust blue.
Wind calm, advise in the turn, clear takeoff, runway
V1,
23.
rotate.
There you go, will advise, yes, 675.
Gear up.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flap 0.
Speed checked.
American 4-3 climb.
Flap
Maintain
0.
1,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 2,000 feet American 4-3.
American 4-3 contact you.
AP1.
Check.
On 124.07. Have a nice day.
Departure on 124.07 American 4-3.
We're on autopilot. We have auto thrust. We've moved the thrust levers into the climb position.
Departure American
takeoff, climb
4-3
checklist.
climbing
Landing
to
gear.
2,000
Flaps.
feet.
Retracted.
PAX.
On.
Down to the line.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
KHVN 9880 normal speed, contact Tower 1935.
1935, normal speed, and then 9935.
Right.
New York City is down in that direction.
American 4-3 climb and maintain flight level 200.
Climb and maintain flight level 200 American 4-3.
22 miles until Beats, our first waypoint.
American 4-3 contact Boston Center on 124.52. Have a good one.
Center on 124.52. Take care American 4-3. Center American 4-3 climbing to flight level 200.
The computer kept our speed below 250 knots when we were below 10,000 feet, but now that we're above 10,000 feet, you can see the computer has moved our
American 4-3 good morning. Radar contact.
Our speed up, ground speed of 363 knots.
After work at 656. Zit on Sugal, pass level 315 for 250. 250 level 6 knots time.
656, hello, keep the speed to 90 or more, continue Sugal, Sugal to Alpha transition, view landing 06.
Sugal to Alpha transition for the 06, speed to 90 or more, to 656.
And 656, descent to flight level 180.
Level 180, get 656.
I was a little worried about our status bar across the top. You can see our phase is in climb. When we were in pre-flight, the phase listed our condition as unknown. And at the time, I worried that the program that controls that upper bar, once it linked to our aircraft, and it didn't know what we were doing. But apparently, whatever that situation might have been has rectified itself, because you can see that it's properly listing our phase of flight as being in the climb, as we certainly are.
American 4-3 climb and maintain flight level 280.
Climb and maintain flight level 280 American 4-3.
As promised, U.S. coastline.
KMIA Airbus descent flight level 100.
Descent flight level 100, KMIA Airbus.
U.S. Highway 1 is down there somewhere, referred to as the Dixie Highway. US 1 travels the eastern coast of the United States. US 99 travels the western coast of the US. In some parts of US 99 it's referred to as the PCH, or Pacific Coast Highway.
Set standard.
Standard cross-check. Passing flight level 221. Now.
Check. Below the line.
Barrel ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
You have control.
I have control.
Hi, it's Andy at L1. How can I help you?
Hi, could you bring us some water, please?
Okay, I'll bring the drinks up in a minute. Hi guys, here are the drinks.
Thank you. Hi, could you bring us up a couple of crew meals, please?
Okay, I'll bring them up in a minute. Hi guys, here are the crew meals you asked for. Enjoy!
Thank you. Just to let you know, we're going to be arriving a bit early.
Thanks for letting me know.
Cannon 48, call approach for speed advice on the 119055. Good morning.
Speed advice 119055, Cannon 48. Good morning.
American 43, climb and maintain flight level 340.
Climb and maintain flight level 340 American 43.
Top of the world, baby, top of the world.
American 43, contact New York Oceanic Center on 121.12. Have a good morning.
Center on 121.12 American 43. Center American 43, climbing to flight level 340.
Just in case you were
American
curious.
43, good morning. Radar contact.
Initially, we were handled by Boston Center, and then now we are transferred over to New York Oceanic Center.
Control Delta 256 in a descent flight level 294 to flight level 250 restricted.
Delta 256, hello, speed 290, go to Alpha transition. You're landing runway 06.
Alright, 290 knots and direct to Sugal, and we'll be expecting the night 6 arrival.
8 and the Sugal to Alpha transition.
I'm sorry, the Sugal to Alpha transition.
So we departed from, let's see if I get my bearings here correctly. Not sure if I'm going to be able to find the airport at this scale. Okay, this is Massachusetts, so it's not here. It's in Connecticut. New Haven Tweed. There we go. We departed New Haven Tweed Airport right here, heading 020, so roughly southeast. Well, there's 180, so 2080 is roughly more south than east. We crossed over Long Island, saw that Long Island stretch of beaches. And now here we are. New York City is in this area. There's Newark Liberty Airport. There's JFK. There's LaGuardia.
Good morning, it's Orange 207, flight level 107, climbing 130.
Orange 207, good morning. Climb to flight level 250, direct to Golf Mike Hotel.
250 and direct Golf Mike Hotel, Orange 207.
I believe the Philadelphia area is in this. There's Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So Philadelphia area would be in here, and Baltimore, DC area would be in this area. There's Lakehurst, New Jersey. So this is New Jersey. This right along where the mouse is. And Philadelphia is just on the western side of Camden, New Jersey, if I can find Camden. Anyway, it'd be in this area. And then this is Delaware. And this is the Point May ferry that connects Delaware to Virginia. And one of our weather reporting stations, well, here's Elizabeth City, North Carolina. There's Chesapeake, Oceana. There's Oceana, Virginia. So Norfolk is just in here. And Richmond, Virginia, capital of the Old South, is right in here.
KLM 656, descend to flight level 100.
Descent level 100, KLM 656.
Here's an overlay of our track down to Miami. So you can see right now we're off the New Jersey shoreline. And then we'll be off the Delaware coast, the Virginia coast. Washington, D.C. is just inland from that. We'll be flying over North Carolina, along the South Carolina coast. Further away, but there will be the Georgia coastline, and then we'll be coming into Florida.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 1539er, climbing 130. Good morning, Transavia 1539, climb to flight level 250 to Birmingham.
To Birmingham, climbing 250, Transavia 1539er.
So we printed out our current weather. Again, this is something new for me, so I'm going to see what happens if we try to print out our forecasted weather. So let's go back to the ATSU menu. Let's go back to the company menu. We'll do messages received. We'll go to terminal aerodrome forecast, and I'm going to push print.
American 43 contact New York Center on 118.907. Have a nice day.
Center on 118.907 American 43.
And here comes our terminal aerodrome forecasted weather. So I'm going to take it off the printer. And now let's see what happens to it.
Center American 43 at flight level 340.
American 43, good morning. Radar contact.
Oh, it looks like both of them are here. They're stacked atop of one on top of the other. And I can, with a little bit of maneuvering, I can toggle back and forth between the TAFs and the METARs. Well, that is really cool. I wonder how many pieces of paper it will hold. I like that. Just to reference the printer and the magical cup of coffee, and also the fly pad, which I haven't had occasion to use, are all in the...
KMIA 811, speed 270 knots, and call approach 119055. Bye-bye.
Speed 270 knots and 119055. KMIA 811, bye-bye.
They're all in the developer version. They're all in the development version of the A320NX project, but not in the stable version, or in the, well, actually they're not in the stable version, but they're in the development version, and I believe it's also in the what's called the experimental version. Problem is, every time I try to type a letter for my sim brief name, I'm hitting a command for something else, so I get these weird camera views, but that's okay. There we go. New Haven, Tweed, New Haven to Miami. There we can see our progress, and you can see the weather in New Haven and the weather in Miami. 22, 21, dew point temperature, very close. They've actually improved their METAR though. 10 statute miles, it used to be 5. They're not reporting baby rain or mist. Now it's reported clear, 10 miles and clear. So the weather has improved. Wonderful.
KM 696, speed 270 knots.
Speed 270 now, get up 696.
one of the weather stations that we pulled up was Norfolk, Virginia, and if you look at our routing, we're actually using the ORF. The ORF, that's the Norfolk VOR for navigation. Let's see if we can... I didn't know if there was a way to bring up airports as there is on
American
Boeing.
4-3 contact Washington Center on 124.77. Have a good morning.
Center on 124.77 American 4-3.
I'm going to do just a bit of housekeeping for a bit while we're in the cruise. I am going to open up my sliding glass door and make my environment here
Center
a little bit
American
cooler.
4-3 at flight level 340.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
Are you ready for a bit of a cool down, sweetie? Yeah. You ready for a bit of a cool down? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby.
Delta 2560, center flight level 100.
Center flight level 100, Delta 2.
It's winter in Minnesota, so it won't take long to cool the living room and cool the computer and cool everything. Little Minnesota winter. I don't mind leaving the screen door open. I have a cat, and I know that she might step outside for 4 or 5 seconds, but after that it'll be too cold for her. She'll come back in, find a nice warm spot. She's not a barn cat. She's an indoor cat. You can see that we set a fairly high cost index of 85, and you can see how that's paying out. Our indicated airspeed is really close to the never exceed speed. So at 363 knots over the ground, you can see our ground speed in the upper left corner of the right-hand display. You can also see that we're flying into a headwind, 271 at 135. That's a very strong headwind. But even with that, and you can see also by looking at the position of the aircraft in relation to the routing that we are in what's called a crab. We are crabbing our aircraft into the prevailing wind. So we've got a strong headwind, but even with that, we are at 78% on our power, and we are almost as fast as we can structurally allow the aircraft to get. We're just below the never exceed speed. So even though we're in a headwind, we're making the best progress that we can. Let's take this flight control display off of the EFIS panel and put up our engine display. Extended engine display, I should say.
Good morning, China Southern 453. Now descend flight level 260.
China Southern 453, hello, continue to RTIP 2 Alpha transition, runway 06.
Continue direct to RTIP 2 Alpha transition, runway 06, China Southern 453.
that we know that the airplane is comfortable and on cruise control and flying pretty much unattended, how about we do a little exploring? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oops. I don't want to control the airplane, I want to
Channel 7453, maintain speed 290 knots.
Maintain speed 290 knots, Channel 7453.
right now. When I'm parked, I'm able to use that drone camera more effectively. I thought I could use it here. I'm not sure. I think what I'm going to have to do is to take out the flight control ability from
American
that
4-3
drone
contact
camera.
Washington Center on 125.45. Have a nice day.
Center on 125.45 American 4-3. Center American 4-3 at flight level 340.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
Channel 7453, descend to flight level 140.
Descend flight level 140, Channel 7453.
Delta 256, speed 270 knots.
270, that's 2.
Amsterdam Delta 70 is 28.9 for 250, 60 prior to Sugal.
Delta 70, hello, speed 300 or greater, direct to Sugal 2 Alpha transition, runway 06.
300 or greater, Sugal transition to runway 6, Delta 70.
Delta 70, descend to flight level 200.
The 200 Delta 70.
Let's take a look at our approach today. We are on the Highly 7 approach. So I'm going to overlay that approach onto our routing
17453, descend flight level 100.
Descend flight level 100, 17453.
We have the possibility of being put into a hold at Osage and at Amzar. They have holds built into them. So if Miami needed to slow down their arrivals for any reason, those would be... Now, of course, they could ask for a hold at any place. They could ask for a hold at Staple or Boyer, but these are the ones that are set up on
American
the approach.
4-3 contact Washington Center on 127.7. Good day.
Center on 127.7 American 4-3.
And they're usually the ones that you can
Center
expect.
American 4-3 at flight level 340.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
So when we get to Joret, we can expect to be descended down to flight level 180 and then down to 160 between Osage and Amzar, 100 from Amzar onward, 8,000 feet past Hiley, 4,000 feet past Cairns, 3,000 feet past Simba. And one thing about Florida, if you've never been there, it is as flat as a pancake. There are no obstructions anywhere. So down to 3,000 feet toward Rubo. We always joke about Florida. We say the highest hill in all of Florida is the speed bump at the shopping mall. Okay, if we are landing east, which we will be, we can expect 280 knots.
Delta 70, descend
100
100.
Delta 70, and will you need high speed below 10?
Awesome, for now keep it 300 or greater to advise.
300 or greater, Delta
And I'm going to change our runway. Right now it's looking at 30, but I think we're set up for the ILS to 27. So we'll go ILS 27. And we are using Hendon. Are we using Hendon? I don't remember if we're using... I don't think we're using Hendon. I don't see Hendon. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, silly me. We are landing west. I got my bearings.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 390.
11 o'clock 10 miles. Let's see if we can spot him.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 1 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 330.
I have the traffic. I have the traffic. This is the most exciting thing to happen to me the whole flight. We actually have traffic up here. I love when I have a traffic call that I can actually see. So often I'll get a call on traffic that I never see.
Terminator for the morning, KLM 860, sending flight level 250 on Sugal.
Kilometer hello, descent flight level 190, direct to Sugal with 300 or greater on the speed front.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 3 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 390.
I see that traffic as well.
Level 190, speed 300 or greater for 06.
And I see there's an airport below us. see the strobes of its, those are called real lights, runway end identifier lights. Anybody asks you about the real lights of the airport? Say, yes, those lights are real. Okay, we have successfully visually confirmed the traffic sightings. He said 2 miles. That's really not very far away, but it looks kind of far away. So landing to the west. There's the Hendon approach that he referred to, the Hendon phase.
American 4-3 contact Washington Center on 132.55. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 132.55 American 4-3.
77453 speed 2.
Center American 4-3 at flight level 340.
70.
American 4-3 good morning. Radar contact.
6270, 453.
Remind me to look at charts while I'm in the aircraft. It's a lot quieter. If I look at the charts while I'm in an exterior view, I have to deal with all that environmental noise. Ah, coffee. Silly me. I have been keeping these folks strapped into their seatbelts all this time unnecessarily. Let's set them free.
Delta 70, fly direct to position Foxy to intercept the Sugal 2 Alpha transition.
Saskia to intercept Delta 70.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 350.
Well, I see the traffic at 2 o'clock. There's the traffic at 11 o'clock. Oh, the 11 o'clock traffic is getting awful close. The 11 o'clock traffic is getting really close. I don't believe the controllers would allow the traffic to get this close. Whoa, look at this, baby. Whoa. That was a close one.
KMIA 6 Taxi to intercept the Sugo 2 Alpha transition.
Correct. Taxi for the Taxi 1 Alpha, KLM 86.
The Sugo 2 Alpha transition to intercept from Taxi.
Okay, Sugo to Alpha and Taxi KLM 86.
Thank you.
Well, I hope he saw me as he went by. Miles from Norfolk, Virginia. If you're not familiar with the area, it's the home of the United States Atlantic Fleet Command. So you'll see big aircraft carriers and destroyers out there. Not usually the submarines. The submarines come from other places on the coast. I believe they're up in Connecticut, some of them. But for the surface warfare ships, most of them are in and near the Norfolk area. I know when I headed out on one of my carrier trips, it was from Norfolk. The wonderful carrier USS John F. Kennedy. Conventional carrier. It was designed as a nuke, but at the last minute, Congress decided to make it conventionally powered. Because of that, it was never part of what's known as the Nimitz class. The Nimitz class is a design of nuclear carriers. The John F. Kennedy is what's called a one-off. It was, if you want to ask what class the John F. Kennedy was in, it was in the John F. Kennedy class.
Okay, A340, telephone level 140, I see you have it selected. No, I hadn't cleared you yet, but I see you did select it, but you can continue to the descent to flight level 140.
The coffee is officially finished. That was very enjoyable. Yeah, once we leave Norfolk, about 20 miles from now, we'll be down in North Carolina. I spent much of my military time in North Carolina off the coast. couple of big United States Marine Corps bases out there. I remember them quite well. For fun, we used to take fishing charters, go out on the Atlantic and fish for grouper. You had three choices when you brought the fish in. You could either wrap them up and take them home. You could pay someone on the shore to have your fish filleted for you, deboned and de-gutted, so all you had to do at home is fry them up. Or you could sell them to the fish market at a market price. Make a little money.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 390.
Steering 6 Bravo Runway, hello, descent flight level 170 to Lima.
170 to Lima here, making 6 Bravo Romeo.
Don't see that 11 o'clock traffic. We do have traffic on by 2 o'clock. Oceana Naval Air Station, Virginia Beach.
Yes, sir.
To confirm, we are clear of level 140 at the
AFM, you are now cleared flight level 140.
Okay, on the heading 2, clear level 140.
Elizabeth City. It's a shipping port in North Carolina. Tarboro, Rocky Mount, Washington, all areas, Greensville, all areas I'm very familiar with.
American 4-3, you have traffic at 12 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 390.
Wright Brothers, Manteo. I wonder if that's near Kitty Hawk. I imagine it is. Don't see traffic at 11 o'clock. Oh, there he is. Got him. Got him. He's coming fast. Yeah, he's a fast mover. He's a little higher than the last one. He's not as much in conflict as the last one. Curious that they're all higher than I am, and I'm at 34,000 feet, which is still slouch.
Delta 70, report your speed to approach on 121.205. Good morning.
Speed at 21.205, Delta 70, good day.
interstate, you might call this the Interstate 95 of the air. If you were in a car traveling the East Coast, you might choose Interstate 95. In the United States, Interstate 95 runs along the eastern coast. Interstate 5 runs up and down the west coast. And in the U.S., all interstate highways run they are numbered in a logical and consistent manner. East-west highways always take on an even number designation, and north-south highways always take on a odd numeral, an odd designation. So Interstate 5 on the west coast and Interstate 95 on the east coast are both odd designations, so they run north-south. The major interstates are in numeral 5 increments, and they start from the west, reading from left to right. I-5, and then there's I-15, which connects Las Vegas and San Diego, goes up to Salt Lake City and into Butte, Montana. Oh, I-5 goes through Seattle, Sacramento, Bakersfield, I believe, down into Los Angeles, and then down to San Diego. So I-15, Butte, Montana, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas.
American 4-3
Los
contact
Angeles.
Washington Center on 124.72. Have a nice day.
Center on 124.72 American 4-3.
I-25 would run through Denver and Albuquerque, I believe. Not real sure about that.
Center American 4-3 at flight level 340.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
I-35 runs through Minneapolis, Des Moines, Iowa, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Texas. I-45 runs, I'm not real sure where. Maybe Kentucky, I'm not sure where. 55, 65, 75, etc. All the way to 95. North and south, the even-numbered highways, I-10 runs along the southern United States through Los Angeles, through Phoenix, through Houston, through Louisiana, and into Florida, across the top of Florida. Then there's I-20.
American 4-3 contact Washington Center on 135.5. Have a good morning.
Center on 135.5 American 4-3.
And I-30, which run through, I believe they run 20 and 30 run
Center
through the Dallas
American
area.
4-3 at flight
East-west.
level 340.
American 4-3, good morning. Radar contact.
I-40 is a big one. Runs through Barstow,
American 4-3, you
Albuquerque.
have traffic at 1 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 390.
KMIA 60,
Amarillo, Texas. Joplin, Illinois. That's a big one. 50, 60, 70 runs through Kansas. 80 runs through Nebraska. 90 runs through the southern part of Minnesota and South Dakota. And then you get into the smaller freeways. I-94, which runs through North Dakota, I-76 and 67, and I-69 going through Michigan. And again, just remember, odd is north-south and east is east-west is even. Okay, we had a traffic call, I believe, at 10 o'clock, right?
American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 330.
Channel 7453, call approach for your speed on 119055. Bye-bye.
119055, Channel 453, bye-bye.
American 43, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 330.
Don't see it from in here. Ground speed is now up to 402. True airspeed is 460, so we're booking along. 77% on the engine power, 280 indicated.
Martinair A342, descend to flight level 100.
Full descent, level 100, Martinair A340.
Here's Kill Devil Hills, First Flight Airport. Wright Brothers is the VOR, which is just south of that. In all my time in North Carolina, I never visited Kitty Hawk. That's a shame. Would have liked to have. Not surprising we're seeing traffic. Again, we are on an airway. We are on the Victor. We're on the... Actually, let's switch. We're looking at a low en route chart, but we're on a high en route airway. So I'm going to switch to high en route. And you can see we're on the J174, which is a high altitude en route. kind of like a low altitude freeway system and a high
Hello,
altitude freeway system.
55 Hotel, passing 7, correction, 10-9, climbing 130, and we're doing up the climb.
Here we go.
55 Hotel, good morning, climb to flight level 250 to Birmingham.
250 Birmingham, Octavia 55 Hotel.
I saw that Elizabeth City and I thought the area that I lived in was up here, but actually going a little further down here we see Newbern, Coastal Carolina Airport, Cherry Point, and I spent a lot of time at Cherry Point. Beaufort, North Carolina, there's also a Beaufort, South Carolina. Here we have New River, Wilmington. Yeah, really familiar with this area. Jacksonville, Seymour Johnson. If I were in Elizabeth City and didn't go to
American
Kitty Hawk,
43, you have traffic at 10 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 330.
if I were Elizabeth City and didn't go to Kitty Hawk, I would kick myself. But now I realize I was way down here at Cherry Point, and not going to Kitty Hawk, I don't blame myself quite so much. It's a bit of a distance. 10 o'clock on the traffic. Let's take a look. Still don't see that traffic.
Good morning, Delta 132, checking in through flight level 320 for 250, 60 this side of Sugal.
Good morning, Delta 132, continue to Sugal, Sugal 2 Alpha transition, runway 06.
We will continue to Sugal, Sugal 2 Alpha transition, runway 6, Delta 132.
Delta 132, descend flight level 200.
Descend flight level 200, Delta 132.
Thank you. Maximum speed 300.
Maintain speed 300, Delta 132.
American 43, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 390.
Got it! Actually, I see 2 aircraft. One of them is going to get real close.
American 43, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 370.
Got them both. Oh yeah. I wonder if they're in coordination with each other.
American 43, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 390.
One at 3.7 and one at 3.9er. I'm at 3.4. Wow. Notice that stuttering. My computer's got a cool down.
American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 370.
Got a little bit of a workout there with that traffic.
Can I make it through the speed advance approach in 121.205? Good morning.
112.205, get a mate 6, bye-bye.
You don't see the 1 o'clock traffic. I'm sure Airbus has a similar system. Matter of fact, did we go TARA on our transponder? There's TARA mode. I'm mildly surprised that the traffic doesn't show up in my primary flight display. In the Boeing, it certainly would. Wilmington is near the south end of the North Carolina border, so we're going to be crossing into South Carolina here fairly soon. And there's a wonderful tourist trap which has a Mexican theme. It's called South of the Border. And of course, the Mexican theme implies that it's south of the United States border. That's certainly not true, but it's south of the North Carolina border. And that gives it enough of a reason to be called South of the Border, even though it has a Mexican theme. I think the unofficial spokesman, I believe his name is Pedro. Look at all these concurrent high altitude jetways.
To Pampas to intercept the transition.
Wow, it's relatively clear here in the north, but as you get into this corridor, wow, there's a lot of parallel jetways. Want to make I'm pretty sure I am set up for runway 27 down here. Yes, I am. Miami 27. Okay.
Bosnia 8342 for further contact approach on 119.055. Good morning.
19055 for the 8342. Hello.
3.
We are 5 miles from Delta India Whiskey, and then we'll be heading to the Silo waypoint, which I believe is our longest stretch on this flight. Don't remember exactly how far it is. It might be 70 miles, maybe not quite that far. We'll find out at 3 miles. Switch over to Silo. Oh, I was wrong. 160 miles. I knew it was the longest. I didn't think it was 160 miles. We are making a slight left-hand turn, heading out over the ocean.
Delta 132, descend to flight level 180.
Descend to flight level 180, Delta 132.
American 4-3 contact Washington Center on 120.85. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 120.85 American 4-3. Center American 4-3 at flight level 340.
American 4-3 good morning. Radar contact.
So, do you think we ought to test out this descent calculator that's been all the rage here lately? Let's go to our chart and let's look at the arrival. And we are going to be asked at Joystick to be at flight level 180. Now we are currently at flight level 340. 180, 280, 380. So 340 would be, let's see, 140. We need to lose 14,000 feet. So let's go to
Delta
our
132, descend to flight level 100.
Flight level 100, Delta 132.
And see. You know, I think that descent calculator might only be in the experimental version, unfortunately. It's not here in this version, so we don't have that ability. Okay, well, we certainly, for the initial descent, will trust air traffic control to handle that for us, and if it doesn't look like they're being proactive enough, we'll take matters into our own hand. We'll certainly be at 18,000 feet when we reach Joystick.
good morning, Hainan 491, descent flight level 260.
China Hainan 491, hello, descent flight level 230.
Descent flight level 230, Hainan 491.
This area. Yeah, right now I believe 240 would be the lowest I would be allowed to fly. Jenks is 180. Big Dog from
Delta
Big
132,
Dog
fly direct
to
position
Joray is
Foxy to
240.
intercept the Sugal 2 Alpha transition.
Yes, to intersection Foxy to intercept the 2 Alpha, the Sugal 2 Alpha transition.
So when I get to Jenks, I'm going to request 240. I could do it anytime from where I am now. But we'll plan on that at Jenks. I like that waypoint. Big Dog! CeeLo, Jenks, Hogue, and the Big Dog.
American 43, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 390.
Yep, there he is. Coming in fast. Might be another one way up there. The famous test pilot in World War II, Ace Chuck Yeager, grew up in the hills of West Virginia. He was a rifle, he was a hunter.
Hello, climb to flight level 220 and fly to Girminghausen.
Girminghausen direct, dank u, en climbing 220, 487.
He used to take his rifle out and hunt, and he said the key to hunting was the same thing that made him a great ace. He had very good eyes. He could spot his quarry, his hunting target, or he could spot his enemy from a further distance than they could spot him. And he said seeing his enemy first was the key to all his victories. Of course, in today's battlefield, visual acuity has been replaced by radar. You often have an idea of your enemy long before you actually get him within visual range. So we're going to descend at Jenks, and we will start our descent checklist at CeeLo. Get ourselves prepared for the descent.
American 43, contact Jacksonville Center on 128.7. Have a nice day.
Center on 128.7, American 43. Center American 43 at flight level 340.
American 43, good morning. Radar contact.
And Delta 132, request lower.
Delta 132, I'll hand you over to approach in about 2 minutes, so you can expect further descent.
Very good, thank you.
We're still fighting a bit of a headwind. It's now become a crosswind from our right to the left, and it's also decreased in velocity. Now we're looking at 96 knots. Actually, it's still at a heading of 271, so the wind direction has not changed, but our relative angle into it has changed. It's not a full-on headwind component now. Now it's more of a right crosswind component, but the velocity has decreased, and you can see by our track that we're still maintaining our crab into the wind. 74 miles to Silo. I can see Joray just beyond Big Dog. Remember, we want to be down, down, down to flight level 240 when we get to Joray.
Delta 132, make your speed now 280 knots.
Roger, 280 speed, Delta 132.
My last flight was in the Hawaiian Islands. The landing was horrific, and I studied a little bit why that landing went so terribly wrong, and I realized that up here on our mode control panel, I never went into LS, or landing system mode. So even though I was trying to track the ILS, I'm sorry, was that an RNAV approach? It might have been an RNAV approach, but regardless, I never actually put the airplane into landing system. So I ended up disconnecting the autopilot, and I tried landing by hand, and it turned out miserable. We did get the airplane on the ground, but it wasn't fun. Today we want to have fun. What's today's purpose? The purpose is to have fun. $59 miles to Silo.
Transair 487, crossing traffic left to right, further climb in 2.5 minutes.
Transair 487, thank you.
We're now abeam of the South Carolina coach. We'll be approaching Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is very close to the borderline between Georgia and South Carolina. Might be a little distant to see. Not sure we'll be able to see the coast. Nope, it's out there in the distance. Having the ability to overlay the approach chart onto the high altitude chart is one of the best features of Navigraph. For a long time, I was not a fan of Navigraph. It's expensive, and in the United States, you can get all the charts you ever need from...
491, maintain flight level 230, on reaching traffic will cross below, right to left in 1 minute.
You can get all the charts from FAA Gov, or here in my air traffic program, I can do what's called TERPs, and I can access all the charts in the United States through the TERP system. But the great feature about Navigraph not only is this overlay and the ability to see an icon representing your airplane as it makes its track, but the best feature, if you look up here on the flight planning, is the organization. You can see during our origin there were 4 charts that dealt with the runways on our departure. There's 9 charts that deal with our arrivals, and there are 21 different approaches, and you can choose your approach with the drop-down menus. So having this organization, being able to import your flight plan from SimBrief, and then being able to look at every segment along the way. Let's see, here's Joray. It zooms, there's a little purple icon where Joray is. Really gives Navigraph some functionality. And we talked, the flight has been described 2 hours of boredom followed by 15 seconds of terror. Well, there might be a little boredom in the en route process. We still have quite a ways to fly.
Goedemorgen, uniform level -0 over het spijkerboord.
Good morning, Transavia 5 uniform climb to flight level 250 and passing 110 flight to Omelo.
Flight level 250, we're passing 110 direct to Omelo. It's 5 uniform.
So one of the diversions that I have flying is being able to look outside a little bit. That a real pilot doesn't have that ability to take a look at his aircraft from outside. And the other diversion is being able to pull up those Navigraph charts and follow our progress. Now, of course, the real flight crew does have access to charts, but they're certainly not as strewn with information as the Navigraph charts are. Okay, 25 miles. So let's do our approach checklist. Leave the seatbelt signs on until we're actually ready to descend. I'm sorry, leave the seatbelt sign off until we're ready to descend. Wonder why I'm getting a strobe light on. My strobe lights are not on. Interesting. I shouldn't have let that happen. There we go. I meant to go from auto to on, and I went from auto to off.
Transavia 487, climb to flight level 330.
Climb level 330, Xavier 487.
Seven miles. Three miles. Here we go.
I have control.
You have control.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Barrel ref.
2992. Set.
2992. Set. Minimum.
Set.
Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Jacksonville Center, American 4 Tree, requests flight level 240. She's thinking about it.
American 4-3 descend and maintain flight level 240.
Descent and maintain flight level 240 American 4-3.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, this is the captain speaking. We're going to begin our initial descent here momentarily. At this time, I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign back on, so please return your seats and keep your seatbelts securely fastened until the aircraft has come to a stop at the gate and the seatbelt sign has been turned off. It's been our pleasure having you on board for today's flight, and we hope to see you back on a future flight again real soon. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
American 4-3 descend and maintain flight level 240.
Descent and maintain flight level 240 American 4-3.
Elevator down.
Hana 491, fly direct to Bruno.
Fly direct to Bruno, Hana 491.
I no longer have coffee. That's, you know, I try to keep the flight in the range of an hour, and today's flight is in the 2-hour range, so it's twice as long as the flights I'm accustomed to making. And a couple of the reasons is that Tweed New Haven Airport we took off from is pay-where scenery. I really wanted to check it out. It was glorious. And this airport we're landing at, Miami International, is also pay-wear scenery. I haven't had a chance to look at it. And I know the distance is a little longer than I'm used to, but I did want to fly the coast in its entirety and also check out these two pay-wear airports. So a little bit beyond my comfort zone in as long as the cruise is, and it's terrible when the coffee doesn't outlast the cruise. Of course, I still have my virtual cup of coffee here. There's my flyby coffee. But not as tasty as the real stuff.
Qatar Flight 7 continues Maastricht on 132515. Good morning.
32515, dank u voor H7.
We're leveling out at 240. Let's look at that chart and see when we can expect our next descent. $180 for this segment to Jenkins. 180. We have a 240 segment to Jorway. And at Jorway, we want to be at 180 coming off of Jorway. So 240 for this segment. We'll need to wait for Jorway before we can request 180.
Canada 491, contact Brussels 128805. Bye-bye.
128805, good and 491.
American 43 contact Jacksonville Center on 120.85. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 120.85 American 43.
We're still maintaining a ground
Center
speed.
American 43 at flight level 240.
We're still maintaining a ground speed of
American
392
43,
knots.
good morning. Radar contact.
We still have a crosswind coming from the right. We're crabbing into it, although the intensity of that crosswind and at the lower altitude has diminished. It's now only 58 knots. And our thrust is set at 69 on both engines, 70% on both engines. And fuel on board is 8,000 kilograms. Whatevers. Metric. So we're doing fine. We are now, I believe we are now off the Florida coast. Let's take a look. Oh,
good morning, Gladiator 6463, passing 62, climbing 130. Ground service 6463, hello, climb to flight level 250. Flight level 250, Gladiator 6463.
Waycross, I believe Waycross, Georgia is right there. Here's Jacksonville, so that is definitely in Florida. But it's almost Georgia. There's Jacksonville International. Brunswick is in Georgia, so right the 31 north parallel, 31 degrees from the equator, as we just crossed the 31 degree parallel, and I'm not sure what the border is between Florida and Georgia, but that's got to be real close because Brunswick is in Georgia, Jacksonville is in Florida, so right in this area is the border, and we are off the Florida coast.
Transavia 6463, passing flight level 110, flight to Kola. Passing 110, direct Kola, Transavia 6463.
Good morning, KLM 590, descending followable 220 to River.
Morning, KLM 590, direct to River, expect to 06.
River 06, KLM 590.
American 4-3 contact Miami Center on 124.1 enjoy.
Center on 124.1 American 4-3. Center American 4-3 at flight level 240.
American 4-3 good morning. Radar contact.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 20 Whiskey.
Transavia 20 Whiskey, climb for 250.
Climb for 250, Transavia 20 Whiskey.
"37 miles to Hogue, and then we'll be approaching the Big Dog. Be mindful around the Big Dog." I have a couple of housekeeping duties to perform, and then I will be back, and later this afternoon I expect to take a flight with the Boeing 737 in X-plane. It would be wonderful if a quality 737 became available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. But today, if you really want to fly a 737, the way to do it is in X-plane. And the X-plane Airbuses are superior as well, in my opinion. This one in Flight Simulator is utterly fantastic, and it is certainly worthy of all that's been put into it. And because Flight Simulator is the new kid on the block, it's the one getting all the attention. I imagine when X-Plane 12 comes out, it will have a fair amount of fanfare around it, but it will never rival that of Microsoft Flight Simulator, just in the fact that it was, how many, 15 years, almost 20 years between, not 20 years, but a significant amount of time between Flight Simulator 10 and the Flight Simulator we're enjoying today. Actually, about 11 years, right? Flight Simulator 10 was a 2010 product, and Flight Simulator 2020 is a 2021 product. It came out in September of 2020. So about more than 10 years, not quite 11 years between the two. We should be getting close to a point where we can see Florida. Maybe not quite yet. Florida would be off in that direction. $15 miles to Hogue.
Goedemorgen, KL808, descending flight level 260, met Artip.
KLM 08, low, Titel Artip, expect runway 06.
Artip 06, KLM 08.
$30 miles to the big dog. Will that big dog hunt? Looks like we have a little bit of towering cumulus ahead of us. I'm on real world weather, and it's very common for thunderstorms in Florida. I once went to a mock weather seminar where they had a mock flight they were setting up. A group of pilots were in the room, and we were writing down the weather briefing. And the briefer got 3/4 of the way, almost to the end of his briefing, and he said thunderstorms. And almost everyone in the room stopped writing, except this small group in the very back of the room. They continued to write, and the evaluator, he said, I said thunderstorms. You mean that you're going to continue flight into known thunderstorms? And a guy in the back chirps up. He says, hey, buddy, we're from Florida.
That's Whiskey, direct to Woody, and climb level 260.
Direct Woody, climb level 260, Zavia 20.
He said, hey, buddy, we're from Florida. If we don't fly in thunderstorms, we don't fly. I mentioned that the land is very flat. That leads to the heating of the earth, and the reflective rays come back, and it creates convective activity. all weather is created by what's called asymmetric heating, or not equal heating of the Earth. So when there are high pressure, low pressure areas, some areas are warmer than others. It's all caused by asymmetric heating or non-standard heating of the Earth. And that flat ground in Florida is perfect situation for creating thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon. Now we're live right now, live time. It's 9:10 here in Minnesota. It is 10:10 in the morning in Florida. Not the worst time for thunderstorms. We could, of course, request updated weather. I'm not going to, just because I'm a little lazy today. We could also monitor the radio traffic of the aircraft around us, and that would give us a good idea of the weather. And of course, that's what most pilots are, all pilots are always doing, monitoring the frequency and taking in cues about the weather from other pilots. And of course, pilots submit what are called PIREPs.
Descent level 100.
Level 100, KMIA 08.
Pilots submit what are called PIREPs, or pilot reports, to air traffic control concerning the weather, and any significant weather passed on by other pilots is often passed on to pilots further down the line by air traffic control. 8 miles to the Big Dog, and then we'll be on our way to Joyrey. You remember at Joyrey, we are on our procedure, and we're going to descend. We're going to ask for a descent to flight level 180. That is the procedure altitude, and I imagine that we will be cleared for that descent. 5 miles to the Big Dog.
American 4-3 expect a Hilly 7 arrival with the Joyrey transition for the ILS approach to runway 27 at Miami International.
Expect the Hilly 7 arrival with the Joyrey transition for the ILS approach to runway 27 American 4-3.
Hilly 7, Joyrey approach. Runway 27 is due. Here's the airport. This is the approach. Probably after Hilly will be vectored for a 27 approach like this. I don't imagine they will make us fly all the way to Rubo and then backtrack. I don't think that will happen.
Look at the scale, 4 right, Boston 301, descending to 250.
Okay, we've passed the Big Dog.
Goedemorgen, dit is Schuvel, het wil binnen van het Rijn.
So,
Schuvel for 1 right, KLM.
On this airway, you can see the lower number is the bottom of the airway, flight level 240, and the upper number is the distance between waypoints. So the distance between Big Dog and Joyrey will be 57 miles. And you can see every time you see that label, you'll have that. This one is 52 miles, and this one is 86 miles, and you can see that all along the routing. So if you wanted to calculate your distance, all you would have to do is add up the segment miles for the total distance. We're showing now 51 miles to Joyrey.
Scanner 590, runway is 18 right, proceed river, Sierra Papa Lima.
River Sierra Papa Lima, 18 right, scanner 590.
Kilometer race, descent, level 70, it will be runway 18 right.
Level 70, runway 18 right, KLM, it will be the night transition?
No.
Looking at just ahead of us, is that a good vertical development on the cloud? And these clouds have some vertical development. Imagine a teapot, imagine a saucepan on the stove of boiling water. And these clouds with convective activity underneath them are bubbling up, just like a boiling water on the stove. You can imagine how bumpy it is flying in these vertical columns of air, the same as if you were a small boat flying through the boiling water in the saucepan. "25 miles to Joray." Here is our approach to ILS runway 27.
KLM 48, descent, level 180.
again,
180, KLM 48.
it's overlaid on top of the high altitude approach. And I'm going to move from high altitude, I'm going to move to low en route. Doesn't really matter. It won't, we're still on the high altitude airway. There we are approaching Joystick. So here's the, you can see we're just at the start of the Highly 7 procedure, and it represents the coastal Florida area. But when we're on the approach and we move to the approach chart, it's much more detailed in on the Miami airport. So this area would be the
American
procedure.
43, you have traffic at 12 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 290.
I have the traffic. Oh, he's going to be a...
American 43, descent via the Hilly 7 arrival with the Joystick transition to 3,000 feet altimeter 2992 at Miami International.
Descent via the Hilly 7 arrival with the Joystick transition to 3,000 feet altimeter 2992 American 43.
American 43, contact Miami Center on 132.25. Have a good morning.
Center on 132.25 American 43.
How close is this guy going to get?
Center American 43 at flight level 240.
Four miles to Joystick.
Good morning, Transavia 88 Bravo, passing level 906, landing 130.
Hello, Transavia 88 Bravo, climb level 260.
He's well above
American 43, good morning. Radar contact.
Climb level 260, Transavia.
Miami Center, American 43, request flight level 180.
88 Bravo, for information, the current speed is up to climb until passing level 120.
Just you.
He's thinking about it. He's thinking about giving us 180.
American 43, descend and maintain flight level 180.
Descent and maintain flight level 180 American 43.
Still concerned about where that guy is going. How close he's going to get. He's well above us. Let's look at our next descent. $180 to Ozoji, and then it's 160 after Ozoji. So we'll be prepared for 160. Ozoji is in 67 miles.
KLM for 8 descent, flight level 70, proceed to Schuvel, Sierra Papa Lima.
That's 7.
Cabin crew, prepare for arrival.
Coming up on transition altitude.
Two, 992, set.
2992, set. Passing 18,600. Now.
Check.
We are on local pressure. I haven't been given a pressure reading other than 2992, so that's what we'll stick with for right now. 53 miles to Osoji, where we will request flight level 160, our next step down. 26 knot crosswind from the right. Ground speed 369.
Goedemorgen, het was AV
16,000 at Osoji and 10,000 past Amzar. 16,000 at Osoji and 10,000 past Amzar. And we hold on to 10,000 for quite a way until Hailey. It's 8,000 at Hailey and 4,000 at Cairns. We are cleared. Our general clearance with the procedure is down to 3,000. So as long as we are following the procedure, we can go down to 3,000. The trick is to follow the procedure. And then, of course, good thing about the Airbus is that the speed is managed by the computer. So when we get to 10,000 feet, the speed will automatically decrease to below 250 knots, so we don't bust that speed limit. And then concurrently, as we add in flaps, the speed will reduce to the zone of the next flap setting. This is an extremely automated aircraft. People generally refer to the Boeing aircraft as a more pilot aircraft. You do more flying on the Boeing. On the Airbus, you tend to do more computer management, which is fine. "37 miles to Ogoji. Osoji. Perhaps we can see the Florida coast. Let's take a look. Really kind of hard to tell.
KMIA 590, call approach, 11205.
11205, 590, right.
Okay.
25 miles.
Cathay 271 descending flight level 260.
Cathay 271, good morning. Potato RTIP renewable V183.
American 43 contact Miami Sun 134.2, have a good one.
Center on 134.2 American 43. Center American 43 at flight level 180.
American 43, good morning. Radar contact. American 43, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 10 miles at flight level 220.
Don't see the traffic. It would be above us. $14 miles to Osage. Okay, we're past Osage. Miami Center, American 4 Tree, request flight level 160.
Goedemorgen, Transavia 581 is climbing flight level 130.
Hello, Transavia 581, climb level 250.
250, Transavia 581.
Air traffic control is thinking about my request. Thinking.
American 43, descend and maintain 16,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 16,000 feet American 43.
Okay, time to go to the McDo, Atzu, AOC, weather request, METAR for the same airports, that's fine. Send. Go back to the company menu. Wait just a little while to see if we have any new received messages. Oh, here we have a new one. Okay, new METAR. And let's print this. Here it comes. Brand new METAR. So I'll grab this off the printer. And I'm concerned about Miami. So let's go into performance. Approach phase. QNH is 3020. Temperature is 26. Winds are 280 at 3. So that's really good for a landing on runway 27. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet.
High speed it is, and to active for the...
Decision height is 200 feet. And that is the approach phase. We'll go back to the flight plan, and we will set up our mode control panel into landing system. One thing I didn't do last time that I woefully regret is not going into landing system. Okay, here we're at 16,000, and we're approaching AMSAR. How are we doing on our approach? AMSAR, we can go down to 10,000 at AMSAR. And stay at 10,000 all the way to Hiley. AMSAR is in 13 miles. As is true with most flights, when we get down into the weeds, we're going to get very busy very quickly, but that's okay. That's why we love
American
to fly.
43 contact Miami Center on 132.15. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 132.15 American 43. Center American 43 at 16,000 feet.
Cathay 27 radio please make it 27 knots.
Yes, 27 knots, Cathay 27.
American 43 good morning. Radar contact.
AMSAR in 3 miles. Miami Center, American 4 Tree, request flight level 100.
Okay, 1-8 right, speed to 60, KLM 452, then we might be slightly high, 55 miles per hour, KLM 452.
Next, we're looking for 8,000 feet at Hiley. 5 miles to Staple. And again, if we are given a lower altitude by air traffic control, we will, and also a heading, if we're given a heading or an altitude by air traffic control, we will disregard anything in our flight computer and we will take the radar vectoring by the controller. 8 miles to Millsy. We can definitely see the Florida coast out of our front windscreen.
Did you copy KLM 452 with an altitude restriction 260 5 miles per hour?
Yeah, sorry, I heard it. Thank you.
American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock 10 miles at 10,900 feet. American 43, contact Miami Oceanic Center on 123.77. Have a good morning.
Center on 123.77 American 43.
I don't see the traffic.
Center American 43 descending to 10,000 feet.
American 43, good morning. Radar contact. American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock 8 miles at 9,500 feet.
Don't have that traffic. Ooh, did someone just fly over me? I don't think so. Four miles to Boyer. I can go to 8,000 feet.
American 43, you have traffic at 12 o'clock 4 miles at 8,300 feet.
Kilometer rate, after Sierra Papa Lima.
Sierra Papa Lima, 808.
11 miles to Hiley. At Hiley, I want to descend to 8,000 feet. I also want to extend the first notch of flaps. Eight miles to Hiley. There's 10,000 feet. Landing configuration. Landing lights on. Runway turn-off lights on.
American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock, 10 miles at 9,000 feet.
Light up the Christmas tree. 6 miles to Hiley.
American 43, contact Miami approach on 124.85.
We have an aircraft on our TCAS.
Approach on 124.85 American 43.
The aircraft on our TCAS is at our 2 o'clock. Don't have him in sight.
Approach American 43 at 10,000 feet.
American 43, good morning. Radar contact. Continue descent via the Hiley 7 arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 27 at Miami International.
Continue descent via the Hiley 7 arrival. For the ILS approach to runway 27 American 43.
American 43, you have traffic at 1 o'clock, 5 miles at 9,900 feet.
Level 100, active.
Miami approach, American 43, request flight level 080.
Sierra Papa Lima.
100, active, Sierra Papa Lima, KLM 174.
American 43, descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Descent and maintain 8,000 feet American 43.
And we can drop to 4,000 feet at Cairns. Actually, at this point, I'm a little surprised.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you are making a connection to another flight,
we're not being
please see
vectored.
the customer service agent.
I'm going to
or video monitors inside the
probably bust an altitude.
For your continued safety, flight attendants
We're
will
cleared
now
to
walk
3,000. I'm going to take
clearance
that
for
clearance down to
landing. We'll be
3,000.
collecting all service items, newspapers, and any other items you wish to discard or
Flaps
may
one.
not be taking
Speed
off
check.
the aircraft with you. Also, in
Flaps
preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices. Stow these devices and all other carry-on items. Please use caution when opening overhead bins, as items may have shifted during our flight. Please stow your tray tables and return your seats to their upright position. And check the security of your seatbelt. We will be landing shortly. Thank you.
We have a constraint of 3,000 at Hendon.
280, confirmed.
Good view of the Florida shore. I wonder if that's Miami Airport there ahead of us on the right on the support bar. I bet it is.
Flaps 2.
Check the speed.
American 43, you have traffic at 12 o'clock, 7 miles at 13,000 feet.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Gear down.
Gear down will kill some speed.
Gear down.
Oh, look at that coast. This is gorgeous.
220, 1800 navigate, sir.
American 43, you have traffic at 11 o'clock 7 miles at 1,900 feet.
Speed check. Flaps 3.
Looks like our wind is down to 5 knots, and right now we're getting the headwind component from our right, but once we're on final, it'll be almost a direct headwind. So even though there's not much wind, it's coming from the perfect direction.
American 43, you have traffic at 12 o'clock 4 miles at 1,800 feet.
Ground spoilers are armed. Auto brakes to medium. We're going to set up for a nice long final. 3,900 feet.
You have traffic at 9 o'clock 10 miles at 4,000 feet. American 43, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at 2,900 feet.
When we come on the turn and we're at Hendon, I'm going to go to flaps 4.
Orange channel 528, descend maintain 3000.
Descend maintain 3000, horizontal 528.
American 43, turn right heading 195 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 27 at Miami International.
Heading 195 vectors to the ILS approach for runway 27 American 43.
American 43, you have traffic at 9 o'clock 9 miles at 2,900 feet. American 43, turn right heading 195.
Heading 195 American 43.
American 43, turn right heading 210.
Amazon.
Heading 210 American 43.
Amazon package arrived at just the wrong time. I had to run out and get it.
Flaps full.
Speed check.
6 miles at 6,000 feet.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Well, I don't have the ILS frequency yet. That is concerning.
American 43 turn right heading 222.
Heading 222 American 43.
Maria 9000, fly heading 170, vector 2 final approach course, Vista maintain 9000.
Here comes flaps 4.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew,
Advised.
auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Continue.
Once we complete our turn, I'm going to move the primary display, the right primary display, into the landing system position. A little concerned that we're not getting a radio frequency yet coming off of the ILS at Miami Airport.
United 88, turn left heading 190, 4 miles from Body, clear for Yankee, runway 16 left approach.
190, maintain 1,800 status, clear at ILS Yankee 16 left United A2A.
If we don't get the ILS, I'll be prepared to do a visual landing. I don't want to, but I will be prepared for it. Let's see if we can turn on the second autopilot. Nope, not yet. We might be able to do that a little later on.
American 43, you have traffic at 3 o'clock 4 miles at 4,600 feet.
Two miles to Hendon, 3,000 constraint at Sarko also. So here we are. There's Hendon. 3,000 feet at Hendon, 3,000 feet at Sarko, and then 1,700 feet at Chaz. This is we want the ILS, but we're prepared. I guess we could do a localizer approach if we wanted to step down to 1,700 after Sarko.
American 43, you have traffic at 3 o'clock 10 miles at 2,500 feet.
Okay, there's the landing system, and we're not picking up the ILS.
Orange channel 528, turn left heading 270, reduce speed to 170.
Left 270, speed 170, turn fast right.
Don't know why.
American 43, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at 2,800 feet.
I don't trust this. I'm gonna go back to ARC. Yeah, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I'm gonna disconnect the autopilot.
American 43, turn left heading 222.
Heading 222 American 43.
American 43 turn left heading 195.
Heading 195 American 43.
American 43, you have traffic at 2 o'clock 10 miles at 3,600 feet.
$2,500.
Checked.
American 43 turn left heading 190.
Heading 190 American 43.
I don't know what control is trying to do with me.
American 43 turn left heading 185.
Heading 185 American 43.
I've got it in my mind to land, I'm going to land.
43 turn left heading 180.
I'm at
Heading 180 American 43.
210 Nazi, 6801.
American 43 turn left heading 175.
Heading 175 American 43.
American 43 turn left heading 182.
Heading 182 American 43.
American 43, you have traffic at 3 o'clock 8 miles at 4,900 feet. American 43 turn left heading 152.
Heading 152 American 43.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm on a visual now.
Checked.
Iberia 6801, destroy maintain 3000.
Maintain 3000, Iberia 6801.
I don't seem to have a correct altimeter setting because my altimeter is showing 600 and my radar altimeter is showing 840. The radar altimeter heads straight down from the bottom of the plane. My PAPI is showing me low on the approach. And I am right of center line. Just 2 knots of wind, almost straight down the nose. There's center line, still low on the approach.
500, 500, 500.
Still a little right of center line.
400.
Ready on the reversers.
100 above. Two hundred.
Continue.
100.
United 828, contact Tower 118135.
1835, United 828.
30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10. 5.
Boy, that's the smoothest landing I've had in a long
Spoilers,
time.
the reverse engine 1 and 2. Decel. $70 knots.
Cleared for ILS approach to runway 27 fly heading 244 climb and maintain 3,000 feet American 43.
I'm going to clean up the flaps. I'm going to clean up the spoilers. I will want to start the APU. 1, 2, 3. Get the landing lights off. Get the air traffic control here at Miami on. E10 is our assigned parking space, and I'm going to go to AI control. And our wonderful AI pilot is going to get us to E10.
Ground Western Global 415 Delta, holding short Whiskey 3, request taxi.
Wait.
Miami ground, American 4 tree, clear of the active.
Sun Global 415 Delta, ground runway 34 left, SC.
Miami ground, American 4 tree, taxi to the gate. Miami ground, American 4 tree, taxi to the gate. Miami ground, American 4 tree, request taxi to the gate.
American 4-3 taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 left, and runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09.
Taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 left, and runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09 American 43.
Now you see why
American
I didn't want to fly out of the big
cross
airport.
runway 26 right.
Cleared to cross runway 26 right American 43.
Miami ground, American 4 tree, request taxi to the gate. Miami ground, American 4-3 requests taxi to the gate.
Oricon 3231 due to Joseph 7 departure spacing for shuttle.
American 43 taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09.
Taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09 American 43.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to.
American 43 taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09.
Taxi to runway 27 via taxiways Lima 2, Mike 2, Quebec 1, November, Papa, Zulu, Romeo, Romeo 2, Sierra, hold short runway 08 right, and runway 12, and runway 09 American 43.
Traffic overtake.
Oricon 3231 that's for the platform.
Thank you. Oricon 2141, runway 34 left, taxi via Sierra 3, Juliet Alpha to holding point.
Runway 34 left, taxi via Sierra 3, Juliet Alpha to holding point. Oricon 2141.
Well, one of my goals in flying here was to check out the Payware Airport. I'm so concerned at getting to the gate, I'm not really able to enjoy it. Not to its fullest extent. I was initially cleared to Echo 10 and now I'm cleared to Foxtrot wherever, but and I'll know it's my gate if I see a whole bunch of ground handling equipment waiting for you. It should be the only gate with a plethora of ground handling equipment surrounding it. Looks like here are some Delta gates. I don't want to be an American Airlines plane parked next to a bunch of Delta gate. This is a base for American Airlines. Major. This is probably the #1 base for American Airlines, other than maybe Dallas. And of course, it's a very old airport. It expanded over the years. Here's a gate with a whole bunch of ground handling. I bet this is mine. Well, no, there's an airplane already there. Darn it, that's not mine. This looks like a gate with. This looks like it could be mine.
Japan 873 on
All sorts of good
Japan
ground handling.
873 ground, hold shuttle Sierra 300.
Hold shuttle Sierra 3 on Juliet, Japan 873.
Oh, there's a marshaller. Yes, I see the marshaller. He just appeared. Okay, I think we're set. Break on. Engines off. APU is on.
Western Global 415 Delta, continue taxi via Alpha to holding point, runway 34 left.
Continue taxi via Alpha to holding point, runway 34 left, Western Global 415 Delta.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarm.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Safely at the gate. This will be your indication it is safe to move about the cabin, gather your belongings, and disembark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and hope to see you again on a future flight.
Taxi light off. Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seatbelts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
Japan 873 due to time restriction, hold short of Alpha and taxi after Western Global MD-11 coming from your right.
Roger, understand the time restriction, hold short of Alpha, Japan 873.
Thank you.
Securing the aircraft checklist.
Adheres.
Off.
Oxygen.
Off.
APU bleed.
Off.
Emergency exit light.
Off.
Signs.
Off.
APU and battery.
Off.
Securing the aircraft checklist complete.
Well, that does it, folks. We are all secured, and it's time to go home. Thank you for enjoying the stream, and hope to see you this afternoon when it'll be a 737.